Hey guys, welcome back. We're here for you today. Karen is not here, but we have Lori. So, hey Lori.
Hi.
So anything that we say is not meant to diagnose anyone. This is just for information for you to check with your doctor. So before making any decisions, check with your doctor. But I want to give you some really good data to do research with. And I'm here for your questions. There's a lot of things we're going to cover. I have some quizzes. So don't click off because you want to stay through this entire show. Now we have quite a few people that have been calling like an hour ago. So we're going to go right to Diana from Los Angeles. She had a question about metformin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hi. So I have a question, yes, about metformin. I've been on keto for about a year now because I have Hashimoto's and I have PCOS. So I'm on Synthroid and metformin. And for the first 6 months, I lost about 40 pounds, was feeling a lot better, all in general. And I went to my primary care around January, and I asked him, I'm on about 2,000 milligrams of metformin, so quite a bit. And I said, I'm feeling better. Same thing with Synthroid. Should I be lowering my dosages? And he says, right now your blood work looks fine. Stay on the levels that you are. I've been noticing since then, I've been really struggling with like intermittent fasting. I'm starving throughout the day. And I wasn't like that in the beginning. And I find that I'm really struggling even the last few months to just intermittent fast at all because I wake up hungry in the morning. And I've increased my fat levels. I've increased my even proteins. I've tried different things, and nothing seems to be able to help. And I'm wondering it's because I'm on too much metformin that I've been reading about that it can make you feel hungry, it can, give you fatigue and all of those things. If that's the cause or if there's some other root issue.
Good question. Question I have for you is, have you been checking your blood sugars? Do you check your blood sugars?
I haven't because they never actually had me because it was for PCOS. So I've never actually really done that.
Okay, so
I haven't really felt dizzy. I've had hypoglycemia years ago, so I know what that feels like. So I've never felt that.
Yeah.
So here's where I've been concerned.
Here's a couple things that you can do. Metformin works on the receptor for insulin. It actually makes insulin more receptive, so it makes insulin work better. So it kind of bypasses the insulin resistance, and it just makes the receptor receive insulin, which means it's going to push your blood sugars down even lower. So I'd be interested to see what your blood sugars are. You should probably get a little tester. You can get them at the drugstore, and then start checking your blood sugars, because if it's low, that means that's why you're hungry. And the other thing is you want to, here you're doing keto, intermittent fasting, you want to ask your doctor, what's the purpose of metformin? If my blood sugars are normal, why do I need it? And then see if you can work with him or her to make the adjustments to eventually come off. Unless you really need it, find another doctor that's willing to work with you, because the point is intermittent fasting and keto improves insulin resistance. So why would you need some other medical means to do that? That's the question. There is side effects from metformin. One is the B1 deficiency. So I would definitely take B1. And the very reason you have PCOS means that you have insulin resistance, or you had it before. So if you lower your insulin naturally by doing those keto and intermittent fasting, that should bring your blood sugars in normal range to the point where your hunger should go away. So I think your blood sugars might be too low. And if you take metformin on top of that, it could make it worse. So the point is find out why you need it. And the last point is that I think your hunger is coming from the metformin. That's my guess. All right, Diane? Thanks for your call. And let me know what happens. All right, so Lori, do we have people from different parts of the world?
We do, and I'd like to start with Shelly Yang, because she said hi to me first.
Okay, great.
It didn't say where she was from, though.
Okay.
Ken from Brazil.
Wow.
Joshua Gray from South Africa.
Wow.
I love their accents.
That's
from
awesome.
South Africa.
I know. So do I.
Rebecca, Netherlands. Todd, Macon, Georgia. And Erna from the Philippines.
Oh, that's cool. We got people all over the place. It's so funny when we say we like their accent, but they think we have an accent, but we don't.
I know.
We have the normal everyone else.
We do.
Yeah.
That's
I
nonsense.
heard we sound
have no
harsh
accent.
to
What's
other
that?
people. I've heard we sound harsh
Oh, really?
to other people. I've always wondered, how do Americans sound to other people?
I
That's
think
what
I need
I've
to
heard.
tone it down, right?
Yeah.
I'll try to, talk a little bit smoother with that, not to be so harsh. Yeah. So one thing I want to just mention, Lori, I want to talk about, there was a question last week about OMAD, 1 meal a day. Are you doing OMAD?
Yes, I am.
You are, okay, and you're doing really good.
I am.
Many
43 pounds.
That's
Just
incredible,
saying.
43 pounds.
43 pounds.
That's
all
unbelievable.
because of this guy.
Wow.
And I fought it. Didn't want
You
to do it.
did. You did?
I do not like rules.
Right. She was a pasta lady. You like
Oh.
pasta, right?
I still do.
You still like it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Well, we'll get to the cheat day after we talk about this later. But
Okay.
the point is that when you do OMAD, 1 meal a day, most of the people that are struggling with their weight just it starts coming off like crazy, starts seeing positive changes. But there's a small group of people that have such a slow metabolism and so much damage with insulin resistance chronically, that they need to take it to the next level. And what I'm going to recommend for those people is OMAD, 1 meal a day, every other day.
So the day in between you don't eat anything?
Yeah.
I've almost gotten there. I could see that once you get used to it. Yeah, it sounds hard, but it really, I don't think it probably would be.
There's a couple reasons for this, is because some people have a lot of weight to lose, so they need to do this. And realize you're not starving, you're running off of your fat, and it's a version of prolonged fasting. And the other thing is that there's millions of people all over the world that fast on a regular basis for religious reasons or other reasons.
Right.
So there's many health benefits.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe that intermittent fasting is even slightly more important than keto, because your body goes through like this positive stress where it starts adapting, and all these miraculous things happen with your immune system. You actually make more antioxidants. So your body goes through less stress. It can fight off microbes better. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
I feel so much better.
Isn't that cool?
It really is. And I so look forward to that 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really enjoy
it better.
And then I'm relieved of thinking about food for the rest of the day. So
That's so
there's
cool.
fun in that too, really.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do this every other day thing, make sure you take electrolytes with good potassium, because we don't know your reserve, so we need to do that. Also, the B vitamins and sea salt. That would be important. Drink a little bit.
Sea salt.
Make sure you're drinking water as well. Some people say, well, the dry fast, but you have to know what you're doing if you do that, and I will do a video on that. But the point is that every other day might be good for certain people that need to lose, and the rule of thumb is just don't eat unless you're hungry.
Yeah.
Just go as long as you can.
And isn't it funny how you have to remind yourself of that?
I know.
Because we're in such a habit of I was grazing all day. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what am I going to eat for the next 3 hours
I
if I don't
know.
have access?
I know. It's a mental
It
trick,
is.
because you have to ask yourself, am I really hungry? Like, no.
Yeah.
It's just time to eat. Like, but you have to really kind of like ask yourself, and you're going to be surprised when you do this. If you are in hardcore fat burning, your hunger goes away. And I have people like even for 3 days they're not even hungry. So you might want to try it. Your results will be better, and that's what I would recommend. Now I need to go to Sonia from Chicago. Are you there, Sonia?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
I talked to you last week.
Yeah.
I talked to you last week, and I just was talking about my adrenals. There's a little nodule there, and you told me standard process, but I didn't get I couldn't hear the name of the one you said.
Oh, whoops. Forgot to give you that. The product that you want to get is called
Well, you said it, but I just couldn't hear it, Doctor.
Okay. Whole Desiccated Adrenal.
Desiccated
Yeah, Desiccated Adrenal.
adrenal. Yeah.
Standard process.
And then I have one Yeah, one little question. So I do the stevia, the liquid stevia, and it says cane sugar alcohol liquid. And then the powdered stevia says stevia with erythritol, and I know that's okay.
Yeah.
But is the other one okay, even though it says 11% alcohol?
Yeah, I don't like the one with
Cane sugar,
I don't like
stevia.
I don't like the cane sugar one, and I don't like the alcohol. Yeah.
Right,
Because
that's what I didn't think that would be
solvent.
best.
Like, why are they putting cane sugar in stevia? That doesn't make sense.
Right.
The other thing you got to watch out
Okay,
for
I
in
just wanted to
stevia.
make sure.
Yeah, and then the other thing you want to make sure about is that make sure it doesn't have maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is in so many so-called keto-friendly foods.
That sounds familiar. I've heard
Yeah.
of that, but I don't.
What it is, it's it's basically made from corn. If you're in Europe, it's from wheat. It's used. It's not even that sweet. It's used to in dry powders and making dry powders as a carrier. So it's really cheap. It's from corn, which is GMO. But here's the thing: it has a glycemic index. It's on the glycemic index as 110. Now think about it. Sugar, table sugar, is 70.
Wow.
So now 100 is glucose, 110 maltodextrin. Honestly, I think there's nothing that's more glycemic. It turns into sugar and spikes your blood sugars more than that.
Good to know.
So yeah, read the ingredients.
What is it?
Maltodextrin.
Maltodextrin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to have that because it's going to spike your blood sugars. And on top of that, the FDA does not regulate that ingredient to be part of the added sugars in the supplement facts.
Why?
Well, because it's used as a carrier, it's not as the main ingredient, so they kind of a little loophole in there. So here you are thinking, oh, my sugars are down to 0. Oh, really? So anyway.
And that, yeah. So that's a great thing to know because
know.
you get people that are thinking, why isn't this working?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, these hidden little sugars. Exactly. And let me know if there's any questions coming up on social media.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And you might want to try to find some on that too. Oh, you got some questions. Good. So find some questions while I go to Melissa from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Are you there, Melissa?
Yes, sir. How
Hi.
you doing? Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hi. My question is, I had gastric bypass done almost 3 years ago. I didn't lose much weight. I lost about 30 pounds only. It was never my food intake. I've been pretty much watch what I eat and eat pretty decent. But I ate whenever I was hungry, but I didn't eat a lot. My calories, I eat about a cup of food a day now since my gastric bypass. I just started your program, fasting 2 meals a day, about 4 days ago. I dropped about 5 pounds. But my question is, how do I go about eating a cup of food at one sitting at the most at one time? All I keep on thinking, 7 cups of salad. It's like,
Yeah.
It makes me so nervous thinking about it. And I get like, how do I put all that in with 2 meals a day?
Yeah.
What direction should I go in? I do have thyroid problems. I do have Hashimoto. They did a scan. I only have about a third of my thyroid left.
So you need
I'm on Synthroid, and that's it.
You're going to have to see if you could actually find someone that can replace the thyroid, stick it back in there surgically. No, I'm just kidding. Here's a couple of things. You're in a situation where you need the nutrients, but you don't have the capacity to digest and assimilate the nutrients. So you're going to have to. This is a perfect example of someone that's going to need to enhance with additional supplements. So you're going to your food has to be very, very strategic, high-density nutrient foods. What does that mean? It means like if you're going to do protein, you want the best quality protein with the least amount of waste. So you wouldn't want to do a protein powder per se, but you would want to do eggs. Okay, eggs are probably one of the best proteins out there. And you may need to enhance with an amino acid blend that's just all the essential amino acids, and that's it. Nothing extra added, just so you can get all your amino acids. That would be important. So you have the protein, and then you're going to have to do like the minerals. You're going to have to do electrolyte powder, something like that. A concentrated wheatgrass juice probably would help you because it's concentrated without the fiber. I do have something that also might help you. It's a veggie solution which has, you can drink it instead of doing your salad. So 1 scoop is 2 or 3 cups of vegetables equivalent, and it's all like a really high quality plant-based protein, which actually has a lot. It's a food-based, but it has some protein in there as well as a part of the plant. It's one of the highest protein plant sources that you can find. The other thing is for your essential fatty acids, you're going to have to do like omega-3 fatty acids. DHA, cod liver oil is going to be very important. And then maybe even sardines, salmon as another way to get your protein and your fat. So that's kind of what you're going to have to do. Trace minerals are going to be important. Probably acidify your stomach with apple cider vinegar. I think maybe I need to create a video on this, but you don't want to waste that meal with something that is low quality, but you are going to have to enhance it with other supplements, especially like D, D3, and K2. All right, thanks, Melissa. All right, so do we have any questions coming by here?
Well, we have several. Anita, who's on 1 meal a day, wants to know about collagen powder, and so do I, because I keep seeing collagen powder and things. I don't even know what it is.
Collagen is the new thing that people are gravitating to. This is my take on this, and I will do a separate video. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not complete. You're missing certain essential amino acids. It's not a complete protein. Mm-hmm. So if you just consume collagen, you will not be able to synthesize protein with. You're not going to be able to build body tissue. Oh. Now you're going to have to add other protein to it. So I'm not a big fan of collagen.
So it's supposed to be a replacement for protein?
Yeah,
kind of,
it is.
Sorta?
Yeah, but it's really not because it's incomplete. Mm-hmm. You need a complete source. So I recommend doing like eggs or something that's more complete. And there's some. I'm going to be doing a video on this. I mean, you can take it as an enhancement, but I'm not crazy about it. I think it's overrated, and people are taking it thinking they're getting a complete amino acid profile when they're actually not. So, yeah.
That's why we need you. And well, the same thing with the other stuff. We wouldn't know these things.
They need the basic facts on this. Yeah, and it's kind of like overrated, the collagen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think, well, I'm going to take the collagen and I'll all of a sudden I'm going to replace all my tissues. Well, only if you're actually adding other protein with it to complete it. But yeah, you don't make protein just with incomplete essential amino acids. You have between 8 and 9 or 10 essential amino acids, depending on if you consider certain amino acids essential or not. Mm-hmm. That's a different topic. But you can take those as a supplement or just eat the food that you can absorb, and you have minimum waste with this amino acid profile. One of the worst amino acids is from whey protein because it comes with a lot of waste. You're only assimilating a small percentage of that
from
anyway. Whey protein. Mm-hmm. I've done a video on that. I will probably do more, but eggs are hands down the best complete protein source.
Okay, I like eggs. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Chloe does animal protein, or she wants to know, or he wants to know, if animal protein depletes calcium.
Yeah, that's if you maybe only have animal protein over a long period of time and eat nothing else, potentially it could decrease the calcium a little bit, but there's really no studies that show it leads to any type of big problem with osteopenia or osteoporosis. That's false information. Mm-hmm. So very few people do that. If you're consuming certain vegetables, and like we talk about in this book right here, which most people have, you're going to have more of a balanced ketogenic diet, and it's healthy. So you're not going to have to worry about that protein. And plus, the keto plan is not high protein. It's moderate protein. So the answer is no. You don't have to worry about your calcium depletion.
There you go. Good.
Especially if you're doing dairy. And vitamin D.
By the way, Ken Worthy says he's hungry. I don't know if there's anything you can tell him to do about that.
Ken needs to just eat some food. Yeah, hunger comes from, usually if you're doing this program and you're hungry, then you're doing it, you're doing something incorrect. because once you're fully adapted, your hunger should go away. What's creating the hunger?
I can attest to that.
Totally. What's creating the hunger is insulin resistance. And I guess this is a good time to bring up the most important vital test, blood test that you can get done. And it's called HOMA-IR. Okay, HOMA-IR. And this is the test that's a combination between a fasting glucose test and a fasting insulin test. And it'll measure how much insulin resistance you have. It's never done, but it's the most important test. And so many people would test positive, and it would give you an indication of what's really going on behind most of your problems.
And that will make you hungry too, right?
Yeah, because you're constantly in a situation where your cells are starving of nutrition. When you have insulin resistance, the cells will not absorb nutrients very well anymore, including fuel.
So you can be insulin resistant, but not really diabetic.
It's a pre-diabetic, and diabetics have insulin resistance.
Yeah, right.
So they can't really assimilate the glucose. So what happens is the body makes more insulin to compensate, right? Because it's not going in. So if you have a child, right, or a son, well, probably they're adult right now. Have you ever communicated to them and they didn't receive your communication?
No.
No? Okay. Hypothetically.
But pretend.
Right. Yeah. You may need to increase the volume, right?
Okay.
Because it's not going in. Same thing in the body. If it's not going in, the body increases the volume. And then the problem is all that damage, all the damage from the high levels of glucose that won't go into the cell now corrodes the arteries and the eye and the kidney, the whole thing, but it doesn't go in there. So you're starving. You are starving. So intermittent fasting really works for that. But anytime you get too much of something, like a hormone, whatever, or antibiotic, the body resists it as a protective mechanism. You ever been to a rock concert? And then the next couple of days you can't hear?
Yes.
So that's just because your body's protecting you against the excessive sound. So insulin resistance is a common problem because we have too much insulin in our bodies because of the carbs and also the fatty liver and the frequent eating. That's the other killer.
Yeah.
So
it is. It's a relief not to be frequently eating, I have to say, once you get in the habit.
Yeah, it's, you know, they push the snacks. The problem is that there's so much money involved with snack, the selling of the snacks. So HOMA-IR is the test that people need to get as the most important test.
Does carb UPS mean anything to you? Since we're talking about carbs, Michelle Simmons just put carb UPS.
I'm not sure what that is. Might be a product.
I must have read it wrong. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But let's go to Gloria from Louisiana. Are you there, Gloria?
Yes.
Hi. What was your question?
Hi. Okay. I've been listening to some of your questions so far, and they're really kicking off some other questions. But first of all, I was on keto for about a year and a half ago, and I lost about 20 pounds in less than 2 months anyway. And I was trying to do it, by the macros and trying to do it precise. Well, I have, so of course, I have the doctor's situation. I'm 73. I have diabetes. I'm on insulin. I've got thyroid. I've got blood pressure. I have some kidney stones and cholesterol. Well, I just got back from the doctor about a week ago, and my reports weren't bad at all. The main thing that showed up was the doctor started talking about cholesterol and about LDL, and of course I'm hearing things about that. But I'm wanting to get back. One thing I've been trying to do, I'm not so rigid on keto, but my question that I started with you this morning on was originally to get on keto, but how should I get back to it? One thing I did is I looked online and I checked out, answered your questionnaire, and it kind of precluded that I might want to look at your kit. I believe you got a kit for pancreas. Is that what it is? But my so the doctor's wanting me to take statin.
Yeah.
I don't want to take statin.
So let me give you some. I'm going to give you a tip right now. Okay.
Okay.
The basics that you need right now is just like how to do it with the eating. Kit is great. It'll actually speed things up. but the basics is going to be important. If you go to drberg.com, just download the free how-to plan and stick with that right now. Get that implemented. You can get the kit later, but the point is you need to get the basics in to make this work out, which is a combination of healthy keto and intermittent fasting. I walk you through step by step exactly what to eat. Here's the big elephant in the room. Unfortunately, the actual cause of all these problems is like, and I'm talking about cholesterol, LDL, diabetes. It's all a problem with high levels of insulin. High insulin is the big problem. It's called hyperinsulinemia, and no one's doing the test for it, HOMA-IR. That would be a good test to ask your doctor to do. But here's the problem. If you look up how to fix it, they just basically say there's no fix for it. You just need to manage the complications and the symptom. All these things that people have, blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatigue, kidney stones, are symptoms of the high insulin. And they're all being managed, but they're not being solved by reducing insulin because they never did the test. So you need to just do the diet, get back on it, and you're going to see that you're going to start improving everything without treating that. So, but why do we have, Lori, I'll just ask you this, what is wrong with this picture? Why are people having massive problems with high levels of insulin?
I would think all the hidden sugars in our diet.
Right, but if we pull the string and why are people eating all these hidden sugars? That's the question.
Why? Well, they're craving it.
Right.
And they're not reading labels.
The authority on nutrition, I guess conventional wisdom, or we won't mention who they is, basically recommend that 65% of your calories should be carbohydrates. That is the cause of all these problems. They're recommending it. It's in the food pyramid, the myplate.gov, and that comes out to, if you're doing 1,800 calories, that comes out to 293 grams of sugar per day.
I was going to say, you might as well just be eating sugar, right?
293 grams. In keto, we recommend...
Doesn't it make you crave it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. In doing keto, we recommend 20 to 50 grams. 293 is this is the problem. Mm-hmm. But what's even more ironic...
Which is why I love carbs.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, those recommendations right there are fueling this problem, yet we put that same organization to be in charge of what to do to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. So, the obesity problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to eat more carbs. I'm like, and then the doctor has you on insulin? We already have too much insulin. So I think the solution is not to fight obesity, but to understand what's going on. But it's I think the problem is we're trusting the people who cause the problem to be in charge of...
We are.
It's kind of I guess it'd be let's say, for example, your husband, which I know your husband is not an abusive husband. Let's say, for example, you have an ex-husband who's abusive.
Sometimes I'm an abusive wife, but he's not an abusive husband.
Okay, we'll flip that. It's like let's take your abusive ex-husband and then ask him for advice on relationships. Mm-hmm. What are you going to get? The exact opposite. So anyway.
This is maybe a little off topic, but when I started menopause, my weight just skyrocketed. And I, went with the conventional wisdom, and it stayed there. And nothing has done it for me like keto and intermittent fasting. That's it. There's so much bad information out there, and we menopausal women are desperate.
When menopausal women, what happens during that period of time is their insulin resistance gets worse through the high cortisol, the adrenal. So, and also pregnant women have a lot of gestational diabetes, and because they go through insulin resistance the last trimester, especially if they have a weakness in that area, everything's magnified because everything's shunted to the baby, like the fuel, the nutrients.
So you build insulin resistance the last trimester?
Yes.
Because my babies always got huge, and they kept testing me for diabetes, which I didn't have. That is interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Now, and this is why I recommend pregnant women not to do intermittent fasting, but to do healthy keto while they're pregnant. They will prevent that insulin resistance, and the child will get more nutrients, and you'll have a healthier baby. It is normal for a baby to be chubby, but not excessively. But you don't want a really skinny baby.
No, I love those little chubby thighs.
That's totally
what would
natural.
moms hang on to?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Weston from West Virginia. Are you there?
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Wright. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
A few years ago, I'm 21 years old, and a few years ago, I got like influenza, and of course, I got a series of antibiotics and antivirals, and I just developed like allergies and a lot of inflammation in my jaws, and just like anxiety. And my question is, could it be like some kind of hormone deficiency now, or the magnesium, or you know, a mineral, and the best supplement for that? And I kind of feel like the feel-good hormone that makes you, I don't know what it is, but you feel it's just not coming from me. Like I don't get that, you know, calming sensation. And you talked about L-tryptophan before, maybe something like that, or
yeah. Let's.
I was just, you know, wanting any recommendations.
Sure, absolutely. So the first thing, of course, with all these symptoms that people are asking, get on the basics. Are you doing the basics right now? Healthy keto, intermittent fasting. If you're not, do that immediately. Okay, get on the basics. And then the second thing is to you need to take vitamin D3 higher amounts, because that supports probably the very reason why you got the flu in the first place, because the vitamin D is an immune modulator. It actually supports the immune system, and it protects against the flu symptoms, which is a whole other topic. I won't get into that, but I would take the higher amounts of vitamin D, take the K2, and then the main thing with anxiety is B1. B1 will help you with anxiety more than anything. Magnesium is good too, but B1 is the one that you want to focus on. Thanks, Weston. All right. What do we got? Do we have a question?
I just have to say that's funny, because I started all these vitamins since I was doing that, and I battle anxiety and have for years, and it really does help.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
that's
so
great. That is awesome.
Good.
And also, Steve, your husband, he did really good with the B vitamins too. He likes them.
Yeah.
Nutritional yeast.
He does. He hounded me until I started taking them. All right, well, Tanya wants to know about brain fog on keto.
Yeah. You know, if you watch some of the videos of people doing keto online, like you see the foods that they're eating, I'm like, what are you doing? It's like very unhealthy type foods, right? And they're like, oh, I'm in keto and I'm going through all these brain fog. Well, if you do it with healthily, and the main point about what I think is missing in most plans is they're not doing it with enough greens. The greens provide the minerals to make the transition easier. You can take electrolyte blend to help you, but the greens provide the minerals, potassium and magnesium, which will actually decrease that symptom pretty quick. Plus the fiber in the greens supply the microbes to make more microbes to make more B vitamins. So it's the B vitamins and minerals to help the transition phase. There's all sorts of things. You also, sea salt is another thing. Sea salt, minerals, B vitamins. That should handle any type of transitional problem you might have. And the only other thing for some people is ketones are acidic, so you may kind of get a little more acidic if you don't do enough greens. But because vegetables are carbs, people think, oh, I'm just going to cut out all my carbs. And well, I wouldn't count that as your carbs because it has the nutrients. So anyway, that's my point on that.
How about electrolyte powder on a fast?
Yeah, I highly recommend that.
says.
Yeah, because you need the minerals to help hydrate you, and many people are deficient in minerals, so they go into this fast, they don't eat anything, and they become weak and because they're low on the minerals. Why is that? Because our requirements for magnesium is like 420 milligrams a day. Very few people get that, and then potassium is 4,700. Very few people get that. So you know you need more minerals. That's a real big problem, especially if you have a history of doing a lot of carbs. Those minerals also decrease insulin resistance, big time. A lot of these basics, guys, we're going to be talking about at the summit, which you're going to come to in August. If you don't know anything about the summit, go to the website, drberg.com, check out the video. You guys need to come to the summit. You are going to greatly enhance your knowledge. We are going to have close to 1,000 people there. We're going to have a blast. We have all sorts of amazing speakers, and I'll get to finally meet you.
I love the energy at the summit.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's so excited to be there and so friendly. And
I was like, who are these people? These are really enthusiastic people. There's not one person who is like weird. They're really cool people.
It was unusual in that respect as events like that go. Yeah.
It's like, where do these people come from?
Great energy.
I literally wanted to adopt everyone in the room.
I know.
Because they're just great people. So anyway, come to that summit. All right, so we need to go to Laura, and you're calling from France. Go ahead, Laura. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Hello, Dr. Berg.
Hello.
First of all, thank you very much for all your videos on the internet and stuff. So, yes, I'm French naturopath, and so I was used to the paleo diet and intermittent fasting. But right now, I'm a young mom, and my son is 17 months old, and I'm still breastfeeding. So I wanted to know if I made the test on your website, and I'm an adrenal type. So I wanted to know if it's okay to take the adrenal kit and the keto kit, because I really need this. And since 2 weeks right now, I'm on keto, and I feel very good because I had a lot of problems with sleeping with my son. So during 11 months, he couldn't sleep without me. So I started to eat cereals and carbs to get more energy, and I took like 44 pounds after the pregnancy. So right now I just say stop. I wanted to do something, and since 2 weeks I'm on keto, and I already feel better.
Wow.
So yes, I wanted to know if the adrenal kit and keto kit are good while I'm breastfeeding. And please, Dr. Berg, please more video about pregnant women and breastfeeding and
okay.
So thank you very much.
I will talk about that, sure. And hey, you're the first person that ever called from France, so congratulations on that.
Love the accent.
I do know that your food is higher quality. You guys have really good butter and healthy fats. But here's the thing. I think, first of all, it's not going to be a problem to take the adrenal kit nor the keto kit, because those are food-based, and it'll support your body and get you through it a little bit easier, and the baby will be healthier. As far as breastfeeding goes, I think the nutritional yeast that you order that's in the kit will be awesome, because it's an unfortified version, and your breast milk will be just a higher quality. As you transition this baby into food, there's a couple things to make sure of, and this is what we're doing with baby Lucy, who's 7 months right now. It might be 6, but don't quote me. But she's 7 months old. What we do is we do a half of a teaspoon, it's a quarter teaspoon, between a half and a quarter teaspoon of cod liver oil every day, and she just eats it up. Does really good. The cod liver oil gives the balance of vitamin D and vitamin A. So that's the virgin cod liver oil. We do that. We also right now are giving her 1 egg yolk. It's cooked, of course, but we put some grass-fed butter in there. 1 egg yolk a day. That
Sounds
gives
yummy.
a lot of good things, but not the white until she hits like 1 year old.
Why?
Because it's a little more complex with digestion, and also if you go too early, it could be a little bit of an allergy thing there.
Oh.
So we do the yolk.
Do you cook it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How do you cook it?
Just slightly cooked.
Okay.
Not overly cooked. The other thing that you can do is you can do a little bit of yam with some butter, just as a positive thing. And then the other thing that I would recommend is like a couple fermented, like a fermented pickle. Like she loves just chewing on little pickles. She doesn't have any teeth, so we do that as well. So there are things that you can do, and then as time goes further, Weston Price website has a lot of great data on what to transition a child to in the very beginning. You don't want to do the cereals and all that stuff. So thanks, Laura, for your question. All right. Do we have another question from you?
Well, Natasha is feeling shaky without carbs.
Well, that's just because you're not fully transitioned yet. You're in the middle of the transition. You haven't adapted. To get you to fully adapt, your cells have to be deprived of glucose for a while, and then all of a sudden you start burning fat.
You're right. You are right, because I was feeling shaky when I first started, and I don't anymore at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's nothing you have to do except stick with it.
You have to give it time, because what causes this problem in the first place, what causes insulin resistance, is two things. One is the amount of insulin spike, and it's the chronic time of consuming carbs that created the issue. So you have the chronic nature of time of high level of insulin and the amount, those two things. To reverse it, you have to give it time. I'll give you an example. One gal that I'm working with right now, she diabetic, high blood pressure, couldn't get the sugars down below 180 for life, depended on it, right? And she was doing a vegan diet. And so what we did is we cut all the beans out and the fruit out, got her on this thing. But it took a while. It took literally 8 months to a year before her blood sugars now are below 100. And I think they're like between 80 and 90 right now, which is a miracle. And her blood pressure is down now too, completely. So what happens is when you do this, your liver has to dump the fat first before it even shows up in the stomach. So as you're doing this, your liver is cleaning up the fat, and you can't see it in your shape yet. You think it's not working, but your liver is being cleaned out. And then if it's filled with fat, it takes some time. So you have to just give it time.
Yeah, Lori said she was going to quit for a long time, and then she kept it up, and now a great thing as a couple to do, because now both of us eat on the same schedule.
Oh,
we haven't eaten today. It's great. We feel fabulous.
I think it's really important for you as couples to do it, families to do it, because it's hard if one is doing it. So you got to like twist the arm of the other person to do it.
It is. But, you know, then he doesn't get to nag me, and he loves to nag me. He should be the wife. I should be the husband.
I could imagine. He is a nagger. He's a professional nagger. Okay, Daniel, you're from Miami, Florida. You had a question.
Hey, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I was recently 600 pounds, and I'm on day 9 of fasting. I take your products, your nutritional yeast, your electrolytes, 3 times a day. I take pink chameleon salt, a quarter teaspoon 2 times a day, apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon 2 times a day, but I still catch night cramps.
Okay.
Is there anything to stop that?
Yeah, that is vitamin D is low, leg cramps. That's what it is, because your calcium, instead of taking calcium, just increase your D. It'll pull in that calcium by 20 times through your gut. So maybe have a little cheese. But I would do 20 IUs of D3 minimally with 2,000 micrograms of K2. But the vitamin D is what you need for leg cramps at night. That's the secret right there. That'll be helpful. And you know, if you come to the summit, you're going to meet another guy who is 600 pounds. His name is Steve. He came last year, and I've been interviewing him for over the last 3 years. He's maintaining it. He was 600 pounds. Now he's like 230, I think. Might be 240. But I just did an interview. He's doing great. He does 1 meal a day. He's like, his skin is better. He does prolonged fasting. So you can learn a lot from him, Daniel. But thanks for your question. All right. Let's see. This is what I'm going to talk about. I have a quiz for everyone, okay? And here's the quiz, guys. What is worst, high fructose corn syrup or agave nectar as a sweetener? Go ahead and answer me right now, and let's see what people say. And as they're answering me...
Which is better?
Yeah, what's worse?
Oh, what's worse? Okay.
Yeah. High fructose corn syrup or agave nectar? Let me know. And then, do you have a question?
I do. Speaking about loose skin, Gary wants to know, he's lost 30 pounds in 3 months, and he exercises regularly, but the loose skin just isn't changing. Is there anything he can do?
There's 2 things you need to do. One is you need to do a lot more exercise, intense exercise, working whole body to increase the growth hormone as an anti-aging thing. But the other thing you need to do is you need to do periodic prolonged fasting. So once a week, you do 48 hours, maybe longer. Once a month, you go a little longer than that. And that's going to really you're going to start seeing even bigger changes, because you want to fix the collagen damaged. And the way to do that is with called autophagy. And you can only get into that through, well, one of the best ways is through exercise and prolonged fasting.
Okay? Oh, what do you mean when you say prolonged?
Going more than just one day.
Like the every other thing you were talking about.
Yeah, every other day, or go 3 days, maybe even 4 days. Like this guy who was 600 pounds, he's going, what, like 3 days or 4 days, and he hasn't eaten.
Wow.
I mean, here's the thing, like,
I would feel so good if I had the discipline to do that.
It's really, if you're used to food, and food is such a social thing, it is hard, but if you want to just feel good, you're going to feel good without food, and you're like, what the heck, why is this? Because you're finally aligning what your body is designed to go long periods of time without. Our bodies were designed to starve.
Yeah.
But periodically. We're not
certainly not graze all day.
No, and not eat every 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like if you look online, the traditional, they say you need to lose weight, to speed up your metabolism, you eat periodic snacks, like healthy snacks, right? Their definition of healthy is different than mine, and this frequent eating is a killer. It's just going to mess you up. Unfortunately, until you do intermittent fasting, you'll never realize how powerful and important that is.
I'm a believer. Yep.
It's really amazing. Let's go to Wendy from Idaho. Are you there, Wendy?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hello. So you have so many videos, and I've been on keto for about 3 weeks now, and I homeschool, so my kids are wondering, Mom, why are you not bringing in tortillas anymore? And so I'd love some good resources that I could share with them to help them understand why we've changed some things in the diet. And then before, we didn't eat horribly, but we definitely had, too many potatoes and that kind of thing. But for years, it's been a constant battle with my in-laws because my mother-in-law thinks cake and cookies are great for breakfast and after lunch and after dinner. And I would love to be able to stop the stress between us over what happens after meals or the snacking around meals without making her feel like I'm trying to demean her.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a good video that you can use, and I'm just looking it up right now. Let me see. Okay, it's called Sugar Toxicity. You should have her watch that.
Okay.
But it's a delicate balance because anytime you try to teach someone something, they might feel like they're being made wrong, and people will fight that no matter what. So it's a very gentle touch. You do it with a lot of love, and you just say, you might want to check this out, and don't cram it down the throat too much. And then, but I would also.
That's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
She already thinks that we're mean parents because we don't let our kids
eat what they want. Yeah.
Graze all the sugar they want. Yeah. And so I know there's already this tension of like, she's upset because we're saying no, they can't have that cookie after lunch.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I would go right to your kids and educate them as much as possible, and at the same time, I would be making a lot of recipes and get them involved in making recipes for keto-friendly desserts, cookies, cakes, breads. And so that way you have something that's very similar as a substitute that they don't feel deprived, and they're into it, and they're educated on it. And then what are they going to say? Like, I mean, it's like, wow, well, we have the keto-friendly, they're eating this and that. So I would go that route, but unfortunately, you do have other people that oppose that viewpoint that actually think it's like normal to give people sweets, and they're just not aware of the massive amount of problem out there. They're just not connecting the dots. Like even in China right now, China has officially beat the U.S. in diabetes. Mexico is also really bad too, but like, wait a second, I thought that was, that wasn't a problem in China.
I'm shocked about China because they're not big on, Asians aren't big on desserts, are they?
Well, not until recently. They become Americanized with all the different junk foods and sugar. But the Chinese had a lot of rice in the past. Probably not as much, but they didn't do the snacking. But now the difference is not just that starch, but it's the added sugar on top of that they're eating a lot more of recently, and that's because of sugar and diabetes. So, you know, there's people that are aware of it, and there's people that are not. And
I'm shocked.
I know. And then you have the liquid candy. I'm sorry, soda.
I mean, I always think of salt. You have to watch salt when you're eating Chinese food, but
well, the MSG, that's a flavor enhancer. Monosodium glutamate, it's hidden salt, and that's really what's creating the spike in insulin too, with not to mention the sugar. So it's really about differentiating what is the culprit. Is it the fat? Is it the salt? No. It's the sugar. And so there's people in my family that are just, they don't have that awareness. We don't have a lot of things to talk about. We don't have things in common. And unfortunately, I really like the people that let me help them. And I'm not crazy about the people that don't let me help them. I'm like, listen, you got a problem. Here's a solution. And then they just have no interest in that. So I'm like, okay, well, let me know, because I only help the people that are willing.
I know, that's got to be frustrating, because you know.
You want to strangle them.
That's probably how you felt about me, and still do sometimes when I talk about my naughtiness.
Well, I didn't want to say that now that you brought that up. No, it's like, it's just a pleasure to work with people that are willing.
Yeah.
But there are people that, it's just like, they just have the wrong viewpoint. So anyway, don't get me started. No.
Yes, but not your viewers and callers.
No, especially even at the summit. It's like, oh my gosh. I think it's a very pleasurable to be able to help someone. Really, people take your advice and they get the results.
And then they get to come to the summit and show off the results.
Oh, where do you see the people coming? It's just everyone is a massive success story. So let's see. Do you have the answer to the question?
Well, it's running even. Yeah. I was really surprised. At first, corn syrup was pulling ahead, then agave, now they're...
Yeah, it's a little mixed.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about, I believe the agave nectar is a little bit worse. Let me tell you why. Agave nectar
I was wrong. I would have guessed the other.
Is considered a keto-friendly, believe it or not, sugar, because it's mostly fructose. It's 70% fructose. High fructose corn syrup is like 55 to 58% fructose. Okay. Now, it is true that the corn is GMO, and agave is not. So that's probably bad too. So I would agree with some of the people with high fructose corn syrup. You have all that glyphosate, the chemical, that's bad. But if we just take a look at fructose. Now, here's the thing about fructose. Fructose does not spike your blood sugars. On the glycemic index, it is 19. That's low.
That's a shocker.
Yeah. So why is it bad?
Yeah, why is it?
Good question, right? And it's because your cells can't metabolize fructose. Only the liver can metabolize it. So we're taking all this sugar and dumping, overloading the liver.
Fatty liver?
Yes.
Does that contribute?
Oh yeah, fatty liver, inflamed liver, insulin resistance to the max. With sugar, it's kind of spread out with all the cells, but not fructose. So fructose will create a fatty liver twice as much as anything else, and it's like drinking alcohol. It's very bad.
And there's a lot of people with fatty liver, me included, out there, aren't there? That's becoming a big problem.
Massive, even little kids.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So one thing that's cool about the intermittent fasting, and I'll do a video on this, is that intermittent fasting and healthy keto can clean out a fatty liver faster than anything out there. Your body will start dumping up to 100 grams of fat very quickly within days. Just actually even per day, it could dump a ton of fat to the liver. And you're like, wait a second, I'm eating fat. How can the liver be dumping fat? Because when you reduce your carb, your body stops making fat and it starts mobilizing fat. So all this fat comes out the liver, even before it comes off your stomach.
Yet another reason why you feel better when you start fasting.
Yeah, and the liver function starts working better, so you get better absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, you get better skin. I mean, like, come on, it's like a no-brainer. So let's go to Kim from Sarasota, Florida. Are you there, Kim?
Yes, I'm here. I had a question. I actually have a two-part question. I have Hashimoto's, and I got an oophorectomy a couple of years ago. And I was wondering what roles estrogen and progesterone and possibly testosterone play in fatty liver, because ever since I got my ovaries removed, all of my numbers started spiking, and I started gaining a ton of weight. And I also have the TGAB antibodies for Hashimoto's, but I just didn't know what to do. My glucose levels have gone up, and my LDLs have gone up, but my HDLs are down. And I was wondering if you had any advice on what roles these hormones play, so possibly HRT-wise, what I could do.
Yeah. So I have a question. Did you have both ovaries removed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
yes, I did. Unfortunately, it was a very bad decision, but
okay. Yeah. Did you see my video on the removal of ovaries recently? I released that.
No, I did not. I have watched a lot of your videos. I did miss that one.
It's interesting because it increases your risk for heart attacks and other problems. Not that you're going to get that, but the point is that it creates a lot of other problems when you take it out. Now, if you know, unfortunately, like they're taking it out when sometimes they might not need to take it out. But the ovaries, when you take those out, they still are supposed to help you even past menopause. They still produce some hormones. But it creates such a shock to the adrenals that the adrenals start to have to overproduce. And thank goodness you have a backup. But what you need to support is the adrenal, because there's always a stressor right before the Hashimoto's or the autoimmune problems. So I would support the adrenals. There's a good product through Standard Process that might help you, and it's called Ovatrophin PMG. Ovatrophin PMG from Standard Process. If you had your ovaries out, it just kind of supports that missing link, so it could help you. The other thing is you want to support the adrenals. Hashimoto's is autoimmune, so you want to do cruciferous with some C-Calp to support that, because it's like a really immune problem, even more than a thyroid problem. The other thing that I would put my energy into, besides healthy keto and IF, would be to support your adrenals, okay? Because the adrenal is the backup to the ovaries. So that's kind of where you need to kind of, focus on. I have videos on taking stress out of the body, videos on supporting the adrenals, and that is the area that I think you'd have the greatest impact. The other thing is like choline is important for a fatty liver, but if you go the route on estrogen replacement therapy, then you get all those complications right there. I'm not crazy about that. But again, these are just tips and things that you can research. I'm not telling you to do one thing or the other. Yeah, so that's the issue. Thanks, Kim. All right.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, question over to you.
Yes, I've got a question from Mina. She's scared to fast. Is there anything she can do to prepare herself?
There's something when you have people stop eating, like a lot of stuff comes up, like, oh my gosh, I have to stop eating. It's like it's against my survival. But you do it on a gradual thing. You start with 3 meals a day, no snacking. That could be your start. I mean, that's not scary, right?
Right.
Add more fat to the meal, and then in the morning, if you're not hungry, just don't eat for a little bit, and then slowly, like 1 hour later, 1 hour, until you get to 2 meals a day, and do that until you're comfortable, and then you're gonna feel better. You're like, wow, this is okay. So you do it.
You realize you can do it, and
do it gradual. Yeah. Don't do it too fast, and then you're gonna be okay. You don't have to go to 1 meal a week overnight.
Sounds like good advice.
I know. Joshua, you're from California. You had a question about your sleep and heart palpitations. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. When I sleep, I turn and toss, and I'm feeling just like nervous about my diet. I just always cannot sleep, and my heart palpitation when I get in bed, and I mostly lacking energy and not asleep.
Okay, so let me tell you what to do. Joshua, you need to, hopefully you're on keto and IF, and hopefully you're taking electrolytes. I would recommend this one right here. This is called Electrolyte Powder. I'm actually coming out with an orange flavor, but that has the potassium, magnesium that you need to help support the rhythm of the heart. That's one thing, okay? And then including the vegetables as well. But I would also add vitamin D3 for your sleep. You're going to find that your vitamin D3 will turn off the body deeper into the restful sleep to the point where you're recharging and you wake up more refreshed. To get the therapeutic dosages, you need to go 20,000 IUs a day. The sun's not going to cut it. You need to take a little more, but then you add the K2 in there as well. I just released a video on this, how to get more restorative sleep. Watch it. That should help you. Wow. So that was some great series of questions. Anyway, we ran out of time, guys, and I want to thank you all for your wonderful questions and your support. This is awesome. I appreciate your attention. Stay tuned for some more videos. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your questions, because I'm still learning, and there's a lot of great stuff. In fact, I've got a couple I didn't get to ask. I'll save for next week.
Well, you're giving me a lot of good ideas for videos, guys, because I'm always kind of thinking, what am I going to do a video about tomorrow, right? So thank you, and have a wonderful weekend. We will see you next week, same time, same place.